The Upstate Golf Guys podcast is brought to you by GOLFWEEK Amateur Tour, New York to Upstate, a national tour for all golfers and skill sets in its 31st year. We represent the New York Upstate region, and to join, visit amateurgolftour.net and click Join Now for the best amateur golf tour in the country. David Calise, with his beautiful home for rent in Saratoga Springs. This mansion is located on Airbnb. What a way to enjoy Saratoga with family and or friends on a vacation to golf, go to the horse track, or relax in this beautiful home. For more information, go online to Airbnb/H/mansion in Saratoga Springs for information. Northeastern Insurance Agency for all your insurance needs. Voted #1 insurance agency in the Capital Region in 2024 by the Times Union. For any insurance needs, call Jared at 518-956-3753. The Bunker Indoor Golf, located in over 7 locations across the Capital Region and host of our Golf Week Am Tour Winter League on Saturday mornings. From golfing on their state-of-the-art simulators or having a delicious meal with your friends or family, come on down and visit one of the Bunker locations. Visit them online, getinthebunker.golf. For more information of the Upstate Golf Guys podcast and their partners, visit upstategolfguys.com.
Rewind time 30 years ago. The Stay-at-Home Sick Starter Pack. One of my favorite TV shows. It was a train wreck, but I loved it. I really did, Florida Mike. You know what show I'm talking about, buddy.
Oh, everybody's childhood favorite show, man. Jerry Springer, baby.
Let's go. And I got a really, really, really big surprise for you listeners, guys. And I have to thank Paulie for this one.
He's the man.
Calls me the other night. I'll give the quick story of what happened. I'm over at my parents' house for dinner, and I was chatting with them, and phone ringing off the hook. It literally rang like 3 times. I walk into my house, phone ringing again. It's Paulie. I was just about to call him back. You're not going to believe it. You're not going to believe who we got on our team, who I'm sending a putter to. I'm like, who? He's like, I'm going to let Lily tell you. So Paul's beautiful wife comes on the phone. Did you like the Jerry Springer show? I'm like, of course I like the Jerry Springer show. Who didn't watch the Jerry Springer show? What do you mean? She's like, we got his bodyguard, Steve Wilkos. I'm like, what? I'm like, Steve, he's got his own show. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, this is crazy. Then Paulie gets back on the phone. He's like, I just talked to him for like a half hour, plays golf every day. He loves golf. So long story short, he's affiliated with Bomb Tech Golf. And I've seen Bomb Tech Golf commercials out there. They're a really, really, really reasonable club. And I mean, dudes hit bombs with them. I don't know if it's just on TV, but I'm going to have to ask Steve what he really thinks about that Bomb Tech, because you can go out there and pick up a driver for I think their drivers are like $199, and they look pretty sharp. I don't know. Have you ever seen those, Mike?
I've seen like quick glances. We have them in our catalog.
Okay. Yeah, I mean they have everything. They have wedges. I saw their wedge set, dude. A 3-piece wedge set was like $200, 3-piece.
Yeah, and they're kind of dope too. They're like that. I don't know, like volcano, where it's like torched almost, like where like I don't know if have you seen it where it changes colors when you blow torch it or whatever?
Yep.
It gets like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've seen those. Yep. Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm interested. I mean, everybody could use a cheaper set of clubs if you don't want to go out and spend $600 for a Callaway driver. We all know.
Oh, absolutely.
We all know the game of golf could be expensive. So I'm gonna pick his brain a little bit about Bomb Tech, but more importantly, we're gonna pick his brain a little bit about the Springer show and of course the Steve Wilkos show. Freaking awesome, dude. I'm really psyched. I'm looking forward to this convo. I think we're gonna have some fun. I think he's a lot like us, Mike. I think he's a lot like us in many ways. So
that's awesome. I can't wait to talk to him.
Absolutely.
Really cool. It'll be great.
I don't even really want to waste any time. I don't want to waste any time. So we're going to get him right on here. We're going to get the ad reads out of the way so he doesn't have to listen to our ad reads. So let's get those out of the way, and we're going to get Steve on here right away, man.
Let's do it.
All right.
Hey, Mikey, you know anybody does any roofing?
Actually, I do, Raj.
Who you got for me, man?
Dude named Tom Murphy did my boss's roof. Actually does hands-on work.
Gets right up there on the roof, huh? The owner of the
Yeah, he
company?
does. Knows his shit, too.
That's awesome, man. Is this Thomas Paul Construction?
Yep, that's him.
Man, I heard nothing but good things about them. I'm actually on their Facebook page right now looking up some things. The pictures, the aerial view, they're really cool. He gets up there with the drone. You can see the before and afters of some of the work they've done. Go check them out on Facebook. They're a new sponsor here, the Upstate Golf Guys. So make sure you guys go support Thomas Paul Construction, roofing and siding. Thomas Paul Construction LLC is a full-service construction company who specializes in roofing and siding, covering the greater capital region. You can reach them at 518-308-6794. Once again, 518-308-6794. And make sure to go check out their Facebook page, see some pictures of what they've done in the past, and let them know the Upstate Golf Guys sent you.
Hey there, golfers. Before we dive back into the podcast, I want to take a quick moment to talk about someone who's got your back both on and off the course. Jared Lozier with the Northeastern Insurance Agency. Whether you're running a golf business, managing a pro shop, or just looking to protect what matters most in your personal life, Jared and his team at Northeastern Insurance have you covered. From business insurance to personal policies, they'll help you find the right coverage at the best value. Here's a pro tip for all you golfers out there. Make sure your golf clubs are protected too. Jared can help you add them to your home or personal articles policy so you're covered in case of loss, theft, or damage. Because let's face it, replacing your favorite driver isn't cheap. So next time you're looking to upgrade your coverage or need expert advice, give Jared Lozier a call at 518-956-3753 or shoot him an email at jaredl@nemail.com. Swing into better protection today.
To cooperate with the police, and I hope the police will watch this show, and I hope you go to jail, you dirtbag. Get the hell off my stage!
I knew it.
Did you send?
Steve Wilkos, welcome to the podcast, man.
How you doing?
How's it going?
Good.
We're doing great over here. You're up on the East Coast as well, right? So you're pretty cold up there, right?
Yeah, I'm in Connecticut. It's like 22 degrees here today.
Yeah, so you're definitely not going golfing, right?
Not today.
We're up in I'm in upstate New York, and it is miserable. The last 2 weeks we've had that high winds. I don't even want to go outside. Absolutely miserable. But we got my guy here, Florida Mike. He's a big part of the podcast, and this asshole is down in Florida golfing every day. So
yeah, I bought a place down in Naples, so I'm split my time. When I have chunks of time off, I'm going down to Naples. I joined the course down there, so I'm not. I don't go the whole winter anymore, and plus I'm going to my club here in Connecticut, picking up my clubs because Thursday I'm heading down to West Palm Beach. Guy I golf with every day here in Connecticut. He's a member of Frenchman's Creek and PJ National. So I'm
nice.
at the end of the week. So that's it's not too bad.
That's awesome, Steve. Now,
have you played those courses? Sorry,
I have. It's a trip I do every January.
Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, Florida Mike, you familiar with any of those?
Oh, definitely. PGA National. What course in Naples?
Well, I just joined Kinsale, which just opened up in November.
Yeah. Okay.
Suave, who he developed our condo. He also developed the course right across the street, so it's super convenient. But it's one of the few link style courses in Naples and in Florida, and it's a great course. Like I said, just opened up and having a lot of fun with it.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
How long have you played the wonderful game of golf? How long have you been playing?
Well, growing up, me and my friends, we dicked around with it. We had like a neighborhood golf outing every year from Chicago, and but I never was serious about it. And then when I moved out to Connecticut, uh, I was 45. Yeah, I was probably about 45 years old, and I didn't know anybody. It was really like starting life all over again when they moved the shows out here. So uh, I found myself just like having nothing to do, don't not knowing anybody. So I went and got clubs and started playing. And then I joined my country club about 10 years ago here in Connecticut, and then I really started taking the game seriously. So probably for the last 10 years, really playing seriously. Playing serious golf.
Nice, man. Same here, basically. I always just hacked around as a teenager, got into my mid-20s, started taking it a little more serious. Never was a member of a club or anything, but always played leagues type things. And now I just became I'm 3 years in of a awesome tour. It's called the GOLFWEEK Amateur Tour. It's actually like a nationwide tour. Florida Mike is involved. That's actually where I met Mike, down in Hilton Head. We do an end of the year competition where we compete against players of our flight. That's what's wonderful about this tour. There's champ flight through D flight. So you could either be a stick and a scratch golfer and go out there and play other scratch golfers, or you could suck and shoot in your high 90s and be a D flight golfer, but it's competitive golf for all. And I love it, man. I love the competitive nature of it. It's a different feel. It's a different feel than just going out with the guys bullshitting. I like both, but I'm really taking it serious now, man. But let me ask you, what are your thoughts of Paulie Lombardi? He's the one that introduced us. I kind of opened up with that. Is he the man or what?
It's funny because he just came out of the woodwork and was like, "Hey, Steve, I'd like to send you a custom putter." And we started talking, and I actually just got the putters yesterday, and they're great putters.
Yeah.
But yeah, he seems like a really good guy, and I had a chance to chat with him, and he's got that real thick New Orleans accent there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He wants to. The best thing about Paul, and I love about him, it almost seems like he just wants to grow the game and his beautiful putters more than he actually wants to sell his putters, which I dig, man. I don't know if he even really cares about the money end. He loves the game. He loves growing the game. He makes some cool ass putters. I would turn my camera around, but I'm looking at about 7 or 8 of them I have in my studio here. I'm always putting with the Lombardis. Awesome guy. And it's funny, I already said in the intro to this, I kind of said what happened. He called me. I was over at my parents' house visiting, and when he calls me, he wants to talk to me. So the phone rang 2 or 3 times and I didn't answer. So now I'm coming into my house and phone's ringing again. I was just getting ready to call him back, and I answer. He's like, "Oh, you're not gonna guess who I'm sending a putter to." He was so excited that he got you. And he's like, then I asked him if he would go on your podcast. He said, sure. I was like, that's awesome, Paul. I was like, yeah, listen, Springer was a childhood. I said in the opening to this that was like the stay-at-home 6 starter pack, and watching you as a child in Springer was just freaking awesome. It really was. So thank you for this again. Thank you for coming on, man.
Well, I'll tell you about the Springer Show. That was, I was on that show from 1994. I started there in 1994, and I left the Springer Show in my last season on it was 2006 because then I got my own show. But from 94 to 2006 was absolutely the funnest time of my life doing that show.
That's
It
awesome.
was amazing.
And now I know you were a Marine and a cop. So is that kind of what led you into being security on the show?
Well, I mean, when I grew up in Chicago, my dad was a paratrooper in the Korean War. He was
Okay.
in the Army and became a Chicago cop. So I wanted, I was going to be just like my dad. And so I went into the Marines right after high school, and then I got out and I became a Chicago police officer. And I just took every security job that ever, because as a cop, you make okay money, but you're not making a lot. So you did a lot of side jobs, people that, wanted you to work security. And my buddy asked me, Mike McDermott, he actually runs my security for my show now. And they needed an extra guy for Springer one day. I never even heard of Jerry Springer. And he said, we need an extra guy. Do you want to do it? I said, yeah. And that one job, that one day turned into 31 years later. I'm still drawing a paycheck from TV. So
That's true.
changed career paths. I got my foot in the door really, really well with the Springer Show, and I was enjoying it. And I married my wife, who I met on the Springer Show, and she was a producer, and she ended up running the show. She's now my executive producer, and so a lot of good things came out of that. I mean, just everything. And
Absolutely.
I love being a policeman, but I'm glad I was able to go into something else.
Well, first off, thank you for your service for you and your father.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate that. But question about the Springer Show. Like during the Springer Show days, did you know that you wanted your own show, or did you have a feeling like you
No,
really?
because I still was a policeman when I did the Springer Show. So again, when you're a kid and you're coming out of the Marines, you become a policeman, you're not thinking, oh, I want a TV show. You don't. I mean, that's like, okay, I'm gonna be an astronaut next week. Like it doesn't happen. So I felt very fortunate to being security on the show. I became Jerry's kind of personal bodyguard, and I got to travel all over the world with him. I got to go to the Kentucky Derby, the Billboard Awards, do the
Spring
parades
break.
down for Mardi Gras, spring break, being in movies, and all kind of things. So I was really content. I didn't think I had any talent, or I never thought of getting my own show. Even when there was starting talk that, oh, they were going to give me a show, I never believed. I go, there's no way in hell they're going to give me a TV show. And I didn't never even thought about it. So I was like, man, I'm just going to ride this out. I'm going to get my police pension and I'll be good. But then it happened one day. They called me up and said, hey, we're giving you your own show. And I, even to this day, I've had my show for 15 years. I'm like, how the hell did that happen?
Yeah, man. Incredible, man. Congrats on that. That's
Yeah.
I'm actually. I have to say, I really didn't watch too much of your show. It was more the Springer Show, but the last 48 hours I have talked to you. I think I sent you a video the other night. I said, I'm getting to know you a little bit. And man, these people are some train wrecks. And train wrecks are fun to watch sometimes, Steve. They really are. I got to say, that's part of entertainment, isn't it?
Well, people are like, oh, you're doing it. And I'm like, hey, man, it's a TV show. People are like, you only do that for ratings. And I'm like, what are you uncovering some big secret?
Yeah,
Like every
obviously.
TV show in the world. Like,
Yeah.
I'm doing it for ratings. Everybody does it for ratings. Like the news does it for ratings. Everybody does it for ratings. So, like people think like they got you. Oh, you're doing it for ratings. I'm like, of course I'm doing it for ratings. Like,
Yeah.
come on, man.
Yeah,
No ratings, no job. Like, I mean,
Exactly.
goes hand in hand.
for sure, man, for sure. So, I mean, I think you're probably sworn to secrecy on something like this, but the Springer Show is obviously semi-scripted. I mean, a lot of those. I don't know if you can answer that now,
No,
but
I'll tell you honestly about the Springer Show, especially when I was on it. When I was on the show, they did try to make it as crazy as possible, right? But when the fights became very popular and all that, those were real fights. I mean, they
okay,
were like now, I just watched this piece of trash documentary on Netflix. Like, oh, people fooled us and they got on and they told an untrue story. So what? Like, who cares? Like, we wanted the stories to be real because when stories are real, they're much better. Like when
Yeah.
people faked it, it's no good. You could tell it's no good. So, but did somebody make up a story and get past our producer with a fake story? Yeah, okay. So what? You fooled us. Big deal. Move on. Like, but when we had tons and tons of shows where, say, you two guys are friends and you start sleeping with his wife, do we really need to provoke you guys to start swinging on each other on stage when one guy's doing the other guy's wife? Like, no, man. And that happened all the time. So,
really,
like, but then when we did the Goofy show where, about the super hot smoking strippers, dating a midget, yeah, that's probably not real. You know what I mean? But
right.
the hillbillies fighting, and people are like, oh, these are actors. I go, have you seen them in anything else? Like,
Yeah.
these aren't actors. They ain't Brad Pitt up there.
And that's their moment, right? Like they're like, oh
Yeah.
my God,
And
I'm on
listen,
TV. Let's do something.
and back then, TV was a much more powerful draw. TV's still a powerful draw for people to be on, especially from small towns they've never left. But back then, before the internet, before social media, before everything, TV was the only game in town, and everybody wanted to be on it. So, if you're living in Cardington, Ohio, and there's nothing to do, and the Springer Show calls you up and says, "Hey, you want to be on the number one show in the world?" Everybody's coming on. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, that's true. That makes sense.
Absolutely. So do you carry your show over to your golf game at all? Like,
I don't
or
think about the minute I leave my stage, I don't ever think. People always ask me, so I'll do, TikTok lives and I talk to my fans always like, what's your favorite episode? Like, first of all, they're like, remember the most memorable Springer moment? I've been on that show in almost 20 years now. And I'm 60 now, and maybe it's true. You start losing your memory a little bit. I have vague memories. I have a lot of memories, but they're all kind of fuzzy now. And I don't have a particular moment or favorite episode. And I certainly don't with my show because I enjoy doing my show. I love what my show has provided me in my life, but it's a job, man. And I don't look at it. When people watch my show, they're watching it as a fan. I look at my show as my job and how I provide for my family. So I'm
Sure.
not, you know, I could tell you the great round I shot more this summer than what show that I did. So
I love
I don't think about my show. Listen, when I was younger, I was an extreme hothead. Like I had a, temper that ignited at any second. I'm not that way anymore. Like I enjoy golf. I know I'm not going to be a professional golfer. I'm not going to win club championship. So I don't get like I get aggravated like everybody else with a bad shot, but I don't throw my clubs. I don't slam them into the ground.
good.
I know I'm not that guy, so I try to play the best game I can. My biggest thing is during an 18-hole match, I lose focus on every shot. And I think that's where the difference between great golfers and good golfers and mediocre golfers is really concentrating on every shot,
Yep.
because we all know how to hit a great shot. And if you really put every effort into doing that one shot, you make a great shot. But it's doing it, 75, 80 times, 85 times
Mhm.
around, saying, I'm going to make this great shot right now. So,
Well,
but again, like I said, I enjoy golf. I like being outside. During this, like I'll get done taping March 7th. Now my situation is different because now I have the place in Naples. So as soon as I'm done taping, I'll go down there. I'll start golfing at my club there. Middle of May, end of May, I'll come back up here to Connecticut. I have a club here. I'm off all summer. I golf every day, Tuesday through Sunday, every day. And then when my son's home from college, I play in the morning with the same three guys every day, and then in the afternoon I go out with him. So a lot of times I play twice a day.
That's awesome. That's
just a
awesome.
little jealous of you. I'm just a little jealous of you. We're doing the indoor thing here in upstate New York. That's about all we get. But
Yeah.
Steve, I got to ask you. We're part of this Golf Week Amateur Tour. If I could, how far away? We play a lot in like Western Massachusetts. If I could treat you, nothing. I know you got more money than me, but just coming on the show. But if I could get you to just come play an event out our way, would you consider it? Taking a
Yeah,
trip?
if the dates work out for me and stuff, I play up in Jim Kelly's golf tournament every summer up in Buffalo, and I get invited to some things. And yeah, and if I could make it work, I definitely would.
That would be amazing, man. I mean, we would. That would be huge just to get to shake your hand and meet you, and thank you for coming on the podcast and all that kind of jazz. But
Yeah.
I have a couple of videos before I let you go. Just some throwbacks here. This one was funny that I picked out. You got showered with some food on this one, man. But tell me if you remember this one.
Husband?
Was over.
Steve, I heard you talking. It doesn't pick up your voice there. So what were you saying?
I was saying, it's funny seeing those shows because I see some guys I used to work with I haven't seen in a long time, but I hated doing those shows because one, you could slip and fall and I would always get hurt. But you'd have to take your clothes off to that show and just throw them away because they were disgustingly stinky and dirty, you know. But
Oh,
so, but if you see, like as the years go by, I wouldn't do them. I would stand off to the side. I'd make all the guys that work for me do those food fights, and they would get just filthy, nasty, dirty.
It's amazing. Like I've been to a couple. I went to a couple Jerry Springer shows, like your spring breaks. You
Yeah.
know, because I lived here and I just wanted to check it out. Obviously, being a huge fan of the show and like watching you as I grew up and watching the show grow, it almost went from like Jerry Springer to just Steve. Because I feel like 3/4 of the show, everybody was always chanting your name. You
Yeah,
know,
well, I was
like,
always in the middle of the mix of things, you
yeah, you
know.
were.
So I was always, and then, you know, the first person you saw on the Jerry Springer show was me. I'd walk out on stage, and then Jerry walked out. So I was the first person you saw. I was the last person because I closed the show with walks with the guests at the end of the show, and then during the fights, which was the most, you know, popular part of the show, I was in the mix of it. So you know, it was Jerry Show and he was the biggest star, but I was kind of like present all the time, all over that show.
Yeah.
And I think that's what led to, you know, me being so popular.
that's
And
awesome.
I gotta give you to you too, because you said, you know, growing up you had a bad temper. And the mere fact that you like held yourself together on some of those shows, like when you know when you accidentally get clocked, because I know when I
Yeah.
get hit in the face, I get pretty upset, you know. And
Yeah.
you're
You know,
bigger than 90% of the guys on there.
yeah, you know, the great thing about the Springer Show, even when I did get hit, I didn't really get mad because, you know, these were just hillbillies and rednecks and,
Yeah,
you know, just, but they were really nice people. That's what people don't understand. Like people would say, "Oh, where'd you find this trash?" You go, "They're not trash. They're good people, man." And I had a lot of fun with these guys and then the girls and you know they would always apologize. Oh, Steve, I didn't mean to hit you. And I'm like, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal.
yeah,
And
that's awesome.
it was just doing that show. It was so much fun.
That's
And
so.
you know, since I lived in Chicago for 15 years, I got to ask you, where was your favorite place to eat?
Well, growing up, I just bought neighborhood joint. I had Pete's Pizza on Western Avenue, and then there was Hero Submarine Sandwiches, which I actually worked at for a while. It was right across from my high school, Tech. That had been there probably 60, 65 years. They shut down a few years ago. Nobody knows what happened. But then I also like me and my wife. We love Gay House, which was on Armitage Fondue Place. That's been
Mm-hmm.
around longer than I've been alive, and I'm 60 years old. So goes to show you a restaurant that can stick around that long. But you know, it's funny because I live here in Connecticut, and the other day, yesterday was my wife's birthday, and we always like I just went and picked up food. And I came home, we ate at home. There's no place. There's places we like to eat out here, but if we go to Chicago, we have a million favorite restaurants, right? Like, oh my God, we want to eat there, we want to eat there. There's a place I want to eat for breakfast. There's a place I want to eat for lunch. There's a place I want to eat for dinner. You know, like we don't have that out here on the East Coast. Like, you know, there's places we like, but not like Chicago. And you could throw a dart down the street and there's three places you want to eat in Chicago.
Oh yeah, I agree with you because I live in Florida and it's the same thing. Like it's just all the same food everywhere, just a different name slapped on the building. You know, at the end of the
Yeah,
day, like
yeah,
nothing's like original. Nothing's like it says family owned, but it's not really. They just kept it from the last owner. You
yeah,
know, like in Chicago, you actually get that love. You
yeah,
every day when you go into there. You know, fresh
yeah.
bakeries. Oh man,
Oh, everything. I mean, you know, in my little neighborhood, I grew up in Roscoe Village. You know, there was 10 places you know, I'd love to go back to. So it, you know, just was my mouth waters just thinking about it.
yeah, man, I miss a good beef too. I'll tell you
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. We get Portillo shipped out. We always have a supply in our fridge.
Oh,
Nice.
sounds like what you were saying about those bakeries. A lot like what my dad says about Newark, New Jersey, growing up in Newark. You know,
Yeah.
just nothing like it. But Steve, I picked this. I was stalking your page a little bit, and this guy is one of my favorite guys, and I just wanted to pick your thoughts a little bit about him. You met him. You said this year, last year. Pete Rose, for my listeners, if they don't see it, really, 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 I feel is a shame that they didn't get him into the Hall of Fame with how gambling is legal now and with what's going on in the world with gambling.
Well,
MLB.
listen, baseball screwed this. Baseball screwed it all up, and the commissioner of baseball, you know, Giamatti, and then Paul Vincent. Pete Rose was a very flawed guy. Okay, I mean, and let's be honest, Pete Rose was kind of a bad guy. Not kind of, he was a bad guy.
Sure.
But I met Pete a lot because Jerry was good friends with Pete because Jerry was the mayor of Cincinnati and knew Pete. And so Jerry took us to fantasy camp, and Pete was there, and I got to know Pete really well. And I talked to him many, many times. And then when that picture we saw, I was in Vegas. I went by Pete because he would sign autographs at Mandalay Bay. Pete never did anything bad to me, and I love Pete. Like when I was a kid, I idolized the guy. If you were a baseball fan, you met Pete Rose. He didn't care who you were. He would talk baseball with you for as long as you wanted to, and the guy was super knowledgeable. But Pete hung around bad guys. Pete did bad things, and he didn't have a moral compass. But I still think, as far as a baseball guy, he was a great guy. Should he be in the Hall of Fame? Absolutely, because you look at Shoes Joe Jackson. He was on the ballot for years and years and years, 50, 60, 70 years, even though he was involved in the White Sox gambling scandal in 1919. They changed the rules after Pete was banned from baseball. Baseball and the Hall of Fame are two different things.
Yep.
There's no baseball doesn't run the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is a private thing. But they forced it on them to change the rules to keep Pete Rose out. Pete Rose was one of the greatest players to ever play baseball. He should have been allowed, you should have left it up to the voters whether he got in or not. He definitely would have got voted in, and then keep the ban on him, banned from baseball, but allowed to be in the Hall of Fame. It's that simple. But these guys all had, oh, you killed Bart Giamatti, we're going to keep you out. And that's a shame. Listen, I'm a huge Cubs fan. They kept Ron Santo out until right after he died, and then they elected Ron Santo after he died. Like, okay, yeah, it's nice for the Santo family, but here the guy was a great ball player, and you put him in after he dies, and if you put Pete
It's like
Rose
a
in,
kick in the dick. It really is. Putting him in after he dies is just like a kick in the dick. Really.
it's sickening.
Yeah.
And no matter how you feel about Pete Rose, he was one of the greatest players ever played a game. He wasn't betting. There was no proof he was betting or gambling while he was a player. The guy should be in the Hall of Fame. End of story.
Bingo.
Amen.
Amen.
Agree.
It's
Definitely
funny.
agree.
You said I had I don't know if you've heard of Joey Merlino and Little Snuff. Joey Merlino basically ran Philadelphia for years, but Little Snuff, they have their own podcast now, and I was following them, and they had Pete Rose on the podcast when they first started, and Joe literally said the same thing. He said Pete would sit and talk to a homeless guy about baseball. He loved baseball that much. He would sit there and talk to a homeless guy about baseball. And another thing about Pete is he owned up to his mistakes. He never denied it later in life. He owned up to them. And listen, I'm a 15. I'm a recovering degenerate, Steve. I tell everybody I'm 15 months clean. When the DraftKings and all this shit started, I used to always bet with bookies back when it was legal or illegal. Got myself in trouble back when I was a teenager. Then it became legal. DraftKings, FanDuel came up. I went off the deep end. Wife almost left me. Now I literally go to classes once a week. Wife supports me on all that now, and gambling is completely out of my life, but I'm still sick. And it is a sickness, whether people believe it or not. The guy had a problem. I just feel that he owned up to it. And like you said, when it comes to baseball, guy was one of the greatest.
Yeah, listen, and you talk about gambling. I used to gamble with the bookie, all that stuff. I gambled a lot. I used to gamble big money. But even like last year, I was on DraftKings and I was up quite a bit. I went on a hot streak, but I would win $20,000 in a weekend, right? But if I lost 5,000 on a game, I was sick to my stomach, and I just said, "That's it, man. I'm done with it." Plus, my whole, you know, my kids would be home from college and I was concentrating on games. And I said, man, what am I doing? I'm watching football when I want to be with my kids. So I just stopped gambling. Now, like today, I'm going to do a TikTok. I'm going to post about my picks for the game, but I don't gamble anymore. But I can see where guys get caught up in it. I know a lot of people that do. It consumes their life.
It's
They
very
lose a lot
easy.
of money. It could destroy families. So it's and obviously, like you said, you had it. Pete had it. Pete had a problem, and I don't think Pete ever stopped gambling. He gambled till the day he died, I think. So, but he did bet in baseball. He broke the rules, And like I said, he should have been banned on baseball, but he was a great player and he should be in the Hall of Fame. And they could write on his plaque, hey, the guy bet on baseball, he got banned, but he's in the Hall of Fame.
1000%. So
Yeah,
before
agreed.
I let you go, I'm going to show the world your golf swing. Do you have
Bomb tech?
are you okay with that?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, man.
It's not the pretty swing. And
Oh yeah, baby. Nice. Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Bob Tech.
Did
you?
yeah, so that was that. Those were Bomb Tech. Bomb Tech sent me a set of clubs, and I was really trying to kill it there, and I, a little off balance, but I do like the Bomb Tech clubs they sent me. Great clubs. That's my course there. That's probably I think that's the 6th or 7th hole at Kinsdale in Naples. I love that course. So yeah, I'm probably at my best last year. I got down to a 10 index.
Nice.
Yeah, so and I think I could have got a little lower, but again, I'm a little erratic, and I can go from a 10 index up to a 15, and
Aren't we all a little erratic?
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but like I said, I love golf. I can't wait to play it. My whole social activity, my whole social life is revolves around golf. So I really love it.
Nice. So all right, last thing, I promise you. Last thing. Godmother of my 3-year-old is actually a diehard fan of you. And my wife told her you were coming on. She has a huge crush on you, actually. She said, your blue eyes, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. So her name is Jessica and her daughter is Bella. All right. Jessica is the godmother of my daughter, Millie. Can you just do me a huge favor and give them both, Bella, get off my stage before I let you go?
Jessica and Bella, get the hell off my stage.
Yes.
Love it.
Love it.
Love it. All right, Steve, again, thank you so much. We're going to go into a short break. We let our guests go, and then we kind of close this thing out. I'll let you go do your TikTok thing. Enjoy your Sunday afternoon. Again, really appreciate you for coming on the podcast. I hope we get that golf round in, man. I said,
me too.
It's on me. It's on me. I promise you. If you can make the trip, round is on me, my friend. So,
sounds good.
All right, Steve. Thank you so much again for coming on, bud.
Take care, bud. Nice to
Bye.
meet you.
Find your perfect putter and join the Lombardi family. Whether you have lead hands, the face on the TC PL22 takes the speed off the ball at impact. Or are you the type that leave putt short? You can try the PC308. It has the weight you need to make it to the hole. You will find that Lombardi has something special for everyone's particular putting stroke. The 1985 is not only the most affordable club, but is the most beautiful. With a sharp red zinc alloy head and a steefless shaft. The Nasso 66 is one of the best-selling mallets on the market. It has a clean straight line finish to help guide your eye through the ball, straight to the target line. The head with a clean black mallet finish and a 60-gram mate shaft and a Lombardi 3.0 crown grip. You want a custom logo? Lee over at Wedge FX has you covered. But if you want to spend a little more money and make some magic happen, try out the new Diamond Mallet Putter. It's an absolute gem. This is a one-of-a-kind design and is available in the Lombardi Custom Shop. This head is made from a futuristic, top-secret metal. It has the center shaft which prevents pushes and pulls, and it is by far the most forgiving putter in the Lombardi Custom family. Head over to lombardigolf.com and use Upstate at checkout for a hefty discount, or reach out to the Upstate Golf guys as we are local representatives for Lombardi Golf. That was freaking cool, bro.
That was
cool.
pretty sweet.
I would say he is up there with probably the most famous one yet that I've had on the podcast.
I would agree.
And
For
down
sure.
to earth, really cool guy. I mean,
Yeah.
I think he will come play. I hope he comes plays around with us. That would be really, really dope.
That'd be sweet. Crumpet box.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'd be real cool. But
Throw
yeah,
him on a live podcast after.
there you go. There you go. I'm glad that he went into the Springer days and really showed that love, because Man, that was what I loved about him, man. Was like you said, it was funny you said that because halfway through the show they did start yelling, Steve, Steve, Steve,
Yeah,
Steve.
like all the time.
He was like the one everybody wanted.
Yeah.
Man, it was fun. I'm glad you mentioned about getting punched in the face and not wanting to retaliate.
Yeah, yeah.
It's too funny, man. It's too.
I would have brought the ratings up, dude. I would have started swinging back.
Yeah. A lawsuit on your ass.
No, it's security, man. You're fearing for your host's life. You know what I'm saying?
That is true. That is true, man.
And he's a cop. I'm sure he could find a way out. You know what I mean? Like
they all do. It's awesome though, man. I had a blast, man. I had a blast with that episode for sure.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
It was awesome. It was awesome. Oh man, but I think I'm gonna go grab myself some lunch because this is an early day episode. I'm not used to these, and I haven't eaten yet today. I was preparing all morning for this episode. You're down there in Florida. What's the weather like, man? You gonna go golf? You got all day?
No golfing today. It's a little chilly today, so it's like I think it's supposed to get up to 60, but we'll see. It's not even up that yet. But I got a bunch of stuff I'm gonna do. I'm going to take the day off since I had a tournament yesterday. So
there you go, and you got no podcast work for tonight. We got this done nice and early. So your third job is now you got a third job. You got your
That's right.
You got your golf course, you got your restaurant, and now you got your podcast job. And now hopefully we actually start making some money in a couple of years. You know, we'll see.
Whatever, man. I'm having a good time. It's fun. It's better than just sitting around doing nothing. So
absolutely, man.
I like staying busy.
One of these days we'll be like Bob does sports. I swear. I promise. I believe it. I
can't wait. I can't wait. And then we can go beat the brakes off them.
There you go. There you go.
We just got to catch FP. We got to catch FP on a down day. That's all. But I definitely know we could take Bob and Joey D for sure.
Yeah, Joe. Yeah, I don't think Cold Cut is that good. I truthfully don't. I think he's
being a lefty, his swing hurts my feelings.
Yeah, he's not that pretty. I know.
No, I mean, he gets it done. When he's on. Like, I've seen him, YouTube golf's like hard, because you don't know if they're really dropping where they're supposed to or whatever, this and that. But, you see him, I think he shot under 80 a couple times. But I'm with you. I don't think he's that good.
No,
I'd love to see it in person, but I don't think he's that good.
You see the video where he smashed his head on the garage door.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God,
that was great, dude. That thing blew up.
That was great.
I love watching them. Like when they did John Rahm in the taco eating contest.
Yep.
Dude, that was epic. And then the one with Xander Schauffele just recently, that was pretty nice too.
I mean, they have a good click, man. They definitely they got something good going on. They do for sure.
Yeah, they're literally the only golf YouTube guys, really, other than like Barstool Sports, who like do the average Joe's golfing kind of side of things, drinking, eating, having a great time, cutting up the course. You know what I mean? Like everybody else is like kind of pretty serious and they want to be really good at it. And these guys just like, yeah, whatever, we're making content, being mid-handicappers. We're great, which is cool. I don't mind it.
Hell yeah. All right, dog.
Enjoy your lunch.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm going to go eat something. My stomach is talking. My stomach's talking. So you're going to hear it over the mic soon. All right, homie. I'll talk to you.
All right, brother.
All right. Thank you all for listening to another episode of the Upstate Golf Guys podcast.
Thank you.